I'm leaving Denver. What happened today is the temperature dropped down to below -10 last night. And I left my APU running. And of course the water of the APU is tied into the truck. And the water lines, they run through the gas tank. But the filters out there, they're on the outside of the motor, and then you got the lines going from the tank to the filters. They're unprotected. So I got up this morning, cranked up the truck. The truck ran about a minute, then it shut off. It just starved itself out of fuel. I got out, popped the hood, looked inside the sight glass. I got one of them clear filters, jelled. I said, oh crap, here we go. So I went ahead and took that filter off, took the little paper filter, stuck it in the trash can. It's warm inside the truck. Took the big filter off, dumped the fuel out of it, put it inside the truck. By then, my fingers were already frozen, so I took a break. A few minutes later, went inside the store, got me a gas can. Went to the front side of the store, filled it up with diesel, just a little 1 gallon can. Went back, filled up the big filter, the big giant filter, the one that's looks like an oil filter. Filled it about 3/4 full, screwed it back on, put the paper filter back in, put the glass cover back on it, filled it up with fuel, put it in, started turning it over. It took a little bit. I mean, it didn't crank right up. Well, of course, I primed it until the fuel, got the main filter full all the way. It cranked up, and I'm like, oh, great. I'm out of the woods. So I put it in drive. My tanks were empty. I probably had, a little over 1/8 of a tank. So I pulled around to the gas fuel island. I was at the QT there up in Greeley, Colorado. Got halfway to my U-turn, and the truck shut off again. So I got out, filled it back up with diesel, cranked it up again, cranked up like as soon as you turned it over, pulled it into the fuel island, and then things shut off on me again. I'm like, what the heck? So now I went ahead and filled my tanks up with fuel, both sides of them. Now the fuel is warm because the fuel inside the ground is 40 degrees, 45 degrees, maybe warmer, but I'll just go with that. That's warm enough. Filled the thing back up, cranked the truck up, starved itself out of fuel. Cranked the truck. I would have stayed out there, just kept pouring the diesel in it, but it was so cold. My fingers are still hurting across here. I got back in the truck, even my face was frozen. It was just numb. It kept starving itself out of fuel. Eventually, I pulled a little plug on the side of it. There's a little adapter, there's a little port on the side. I kept pushing that. Every time I would push it, the fuel level was weird because I just released the air in it, but the fuel would go back up. I kept doing that until I couldn't take it anymore. I was like, I was out of fuel in my gas can, my little diesel thing. So I just hopped back in the truck and revved the engine up, and this time it stayed running. So it's running now, but now I'm over here getting close to Lemon, however you want to pronounce this town over here. There's another TA over here. I'm going to stop and see if they got some filters, because both of these filters, when I left, the filter was all the way full to the top. So that's telling me that it's clogged. I don't know if both of them are clogged, whether I need to change both of them or not. I might just go ahead and change them both so I don't have any problems down the road. I think what really caused my problem is going in with empty fuel tanks. And then the last time I filled up was down there in Phoenix. Whether Phoenix uses the additives, the winter additives or not, I have no idea. But I know Denver does. So I've been driving now for about an hour and a half. I'm gonna get on over here to Lemon, and like I said, I don't even know if I really need to change the filters. I might just pop the hood, and if the diesel's back down in the sight glass a little bit, I might just let it go at that. I mean, Everything's running good right now, but I'm almost to lemon up here now. So that was my morning. It took about 2.5 hours. You know, it was a little quick story, but I was in the truck, out of the truck, in the truck. I had to go, first time I filled my little gas can up in the front of the fuel islands, and I had to fill it up twice at the diesel fuel islands. And I just kept having to fill it up, fill a little sight glass up and keep priming it, keep priming it. Eventually, I think what the problem was the line was gelled up between the tanks and the primary filter. And once it broke through that, you know, I was good to go. It's still right now -4 degrees out here. I'm out of here. I'm not even going to hang around in Denver. There's nothing to hang out there. I started to leave last night. I wish I would have just left last night. But had I left last night, knowing me, I would have stopped at a rest area or something like that and not a truck stop. What saved me this morning was being at that truck stop, being able to go inside, get a fuel can, and keep priming that thing up. If I hadn't had no way to get diesel into that prime bottle out there, I would have been totally screwed. Totally screwed.